Boxingego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Undefeated rising star Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. was in front of 30 million homes. Undefeated rising star Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. was in 30 million homes on Fox. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We working. Big up to the channel members. I got a lot of stuff coming, but you'll see that shortly. Now, I got to make this video. I just want to have a session with y'all and just give some freestyle thoughts on what I think is going on behind the scenes and what I've seen, you know, and kind of just connect the dots for the fans. Hopefully you like this format of the video. You know, this is not based on any one particular like news headline or anything. It's just kind of more so some ego thoughts like I used to do on the channel just frequently when I was coming up. So, you know, we're going to take it back to the old school. Now, the bottom line is this. Errol Spence Jr., I believe that PBC, they know they have a talent. He's been co-signed by the likes of Freddie Roach and, you know, guys like Adrian Broner. Told you early on that he's a talented fighter, sparred him. You know, Floyd Mayweather, of course, he, rumor has it, he gave Floyd a black eye back in the day in training camp. You know, this is all before he was even a champion, where he was getting a lot of these cosigns. Now, as a champion himself, he's the IBF Welterweight Champion of the world. He's pursuing top options, top names. A lot of people didn't want to fight him. Now, Mikey Garcia is a named fighter, lighter division, but a technical guy who was a division below or 2 divisions below because he's been real flexible with his weight. And now that's the next fight. I told you, if anything, other fighters should feel a type of way that they let a lightweight / junior welterweight take on Errol Spence while he's undefeated and has all this momentum, as opposed to them. Like guys like Keith Thurman. I mean, Errol been calling you out, you know, before he was even a champion. So, you know, if anybody should be embarrassed, it should probably be other people in the divisions that you're letting somebody take on Errol, and we all get to see how Mikey does, you know, win, lose, or draw versus Errol Spence. So he's taking the gamble. So, you know, the cojones on Mikey Garcia, you got to give it up. Pause. You just got to give him respect for what he's attempting to do. I will say this is, I don't view this like Amir Khan versus Canelo because of the durability of Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia, I can only think of one fight where he was dropped, and that was Rocky Martinez, and maybe he got careless or he got clipped. You know, shit happens. But I think the 140s, you know, that's probably closer to his more natural weight as opposed to 122, because I remember the HBO had a special and he's thrown up in a wastebasket because he was struggling to make weight, lost his title on the scale. So I think he was big back then, you know, killing himself to make the lighter weight divisions. But I think 135, 140, you know, and then we're going to see how he looks at 147. I think that's more natural than him going down to 126 and shit like that. But anyway, the bottom line is it's a good fight. It's a big event. Errol Spence was at the Cowboys and Redskins game, and I hate to toot my own horn. Well, I don't hate it. You know, sometimes I do it. I like to do it to gloat a little bit when we get some things right. New media, you know, Boxingego, Ego's Army. But I told you guys, this Fox deal that PBC on Fox is vast. It's bigger than a lot of people. Like, people heard the PBC on Fox announcement and attempted to hate. How can you attempt to hate when majority of those fights are on free TV again? You know what I'm saying? Like, so you can watch Danny Garcia, Adrian Granados, to my knowledge, on regular Fox. You can watch the Charlo twins in December on regular Fox. You know, the only one that's gonna cost you is the Danny Garcia, or excuse me, the Mikey Garcia versus Errol Spence Jr. That is a Fox pay-per-view. type of deal. But you know, all these other great fights, and you know, Leo Santa Cruz with John Molina Jr. fighting Omar Figueroa and stuff like that. So it's just funny to see the haters. But the bottom line is you're getting that with a basic cable package. And I told you when I first heard the news about Fox, go listen to the past videos and live streams. If you don't believe me, if you don't, but the people who have been following my channel can attest to this. And I told you the implications of this were huge. Like, I understand the DAZN streaming apps and stuff. They're saying, oh, it's the future, but we're not in the future. We're living in the present. So DAZN being a new company that hasn't been, like, if I go ask my mom right now what DAZN is, she's not going to know at all. She doesn't watch boxing and she wouldn't know. If I ask her, has she ever heard of the TV station Fox, she's definitely gonna know, you know? So you have to understand that there's generational gaps. Like, for all the kids and the youth and stuff, yeah, streaming is the future. But I know, all I know is when I was 19 and early 20s, I didn't really manage my money well. You know, I wasn't, you know, I was just out having fun. We'd party a little bit, you know, go to the movies. You know, you don't really have much responsibility. I don't have any kids, so, you know, I was cool. So the young kids, they know how to operate all this stuff, like, you know, the millennials and stuff. They know how to operate streaming and get all that type of stuff. But that's not the only people who actively watch sports. You get what I'm saying? So yes, I do think streaming and stuff, I think things will go more in that way of like digital online apps and, you know, pick and choose, but I don't know that we're quite there. That's why it's good to have a linear, you know, platform, kind of like what ESPN is doing. They got ESPN Plus. So if it does go that way, they can, you know, start shuffling more content on that. And then they also have regular ESPN. Vasil Lomachenko is going to fight Jose Pedraza on regular ESPN. You know, same thing with Fox. Fox is a network. Everybody who has a TV, you know, in America knows what Fox is. You know certain stations, Fox, NBC, and CNN. You know, people, we know these imprints. We've heard of, they've been around for decades, etc. I don't have to really babysit you with this. So I told you guys from the jump that I think the implications are big. It's not just that it's a network, it's the network that is working with Premier Boxing Champs. Fox is a known, you know, in terms of sports. I don't know about, you know, if they're talking about Donald Trump or some shit like that, but politics, that's something different. But in terms of sports, everybody knows them. Fox 40, and, you know, they've hosted some of the Super Bowls and stuff. And when it comes to like sports and things like that, you see the on-screen. See, I'm a video editor, so I look at stuff like this. I'm a director, video editor, DP, things like that. And I look at it, like, what are they using for on-screen graphics and stuff like that? And that, all that type of stuff is quality. They got guys who do motion graphics and, you know, on-screen graphics and fly-ins and, you know, little broadcast titles and shit. Just look at it, and it looks professional and stuff like that. So that's one thing that they will bring to the boxing, is they have the manpower and the resources to make pleasing, like aesthetically pleasing, symmetrical, you know, just intuitive content, you know, graphics and names and stuff like that, you know, scoreboards and clocks and stuff like that. You know, people don't look at that. People don't look, like, to be honest, I think DAZN has actually had, from what I've seen on the platform, they have some good on-screen graphics and things like that. ESPN, they need to step it up. Like, I've looked at their color correction, and, you know, on the app, it doesn't look that great sometimes. You know, I think also DAZN, since it's more limited in content, it's easier to navigate through. You know, ESPN is like fucking cluttered. It's like ESPN scoreboards for college football mixed with women's, you know, volleyball. It's just a lot of headlines and shit. You know, it's more cluttered. You know, they need to declutter it. You know, I really think ESPN Plus should be its own, like, it should be its own shit, you know, for just whatever's on ESPN Plus, like build a whole separate app, because it is quite confusing if you're new to it and you don't know how to navigate to things, and where's the sign in, sign out, but, you know, it's harder to navigate. But anyway, I think Fox will do a great job. Now, Errol Spence, he was at the last week's Cowboys versus Redskins game. right? And PBC released this tweet, and I've been wanting to make this video. It says, welterweight champ Errol Spence appearance during the Cowboys versus Redskins game. You guys see him pictured with Jerry Jones, the owner of Cowboys, Jerry's World. It says his appearance at the Cowboys versus Redskins game yesterday on Fox TV reached more than 30 million viewers. Spence returns to AT&T Stadium March 16th to face 4-division champion Mikey Garcia on Fox pay-per-view, PBC on Fox. So once again, some of you guys don't forward think and think about the implications. This is huge. This is huge. Like, first of all, the fight, we're still in 2018. The fight's not till 2019. This dude is from Texas, and he's fighting in Texas at Texas's biggest venue. You know, the high-tech AT&T Stadium, state-of-the-art shit that seats 100,000, I think, plus, right? And he's up here with Jerry Jones promoting the fight and getting some screen time, field view, you know, on the field, and they're talking about it during the NFL, which obviously the Nielsen ratings or whoever, they recorded that over 30 million people were watching that game. That's fucking crazy. So, you know, when people say boxing is dead, slap yourself, because boxing is alive and very well. Because once again, this is Fox is a linear platform. So they haven't even probably went full throttle with the boxing promo. So I just, for me, this excites me because the implications are huge. They got 30 million viewers just on this. So let's say it's the Super Bowl. Now I know Fox doesn't get the Super Bowl this particular year, right? It's going to be on another network, but it's still football. So if they're getting viewerships for their games like this, and they put together a pay-per-view promo with Mikey Garcia with like maybe a little bio or something and splice this into their programming, you know, this is huge because there's a ton of eyes that are watching it. And this is like how Eddie Hearns says that DAZN is the future. This is why, you know, I think, like I said, I think streaming is going to become more and more prominent. But here's the thing. DAZN has to spend a lot of money up front because they're new and they're unknown, so to speak. So they're going to have to buy TV spots and stuff like this. Fox it's a network that's already, like, you know, in motion. It's already standing. So all they have to do is what they've been doing, but, you know, just implement a different sport. So for me, I like the implications because DAZN, they have to get off it's like a plane. They're still on the runway. They got to get off the ground because they're new-ish, at least to the fighting combat sports in the United States market. So people have to become familiar with it. You could accidentally be flipping through the channels and have Fox, and you might be able to catch, you know, some premier boxing champ bio, or you could have just been watching the Cowboys versus Redskin game, loosely be a boxing fan, and seen Errol Spence Jr. and then heard them start talking, oh, this, you know, 2012 U.S. Olympian and with knockout power, and then they're showing Bundu highlights and shit like that. So best believe Al Heyman has a plan, and I think Errol Spence is him and Wilder. If he beats Fury, these guys are going to be big American stars, and that's what they're gunning for. That's why you see they're telling Errol Spence, like, I know it, like behind the scenes, this is not like someone told me, but I can tell. They're saying, get your shit together, take this seriously. We're trying to build something big with you. That's why he's starting Man Down Promotions. Another thing, I was going to make a separate video, but I'll just drop it right now. Errol Spence is doing his own gym, you know, like his own boxing gym. Not like, because right now I think he changed that R&R. I think it's a whole different site. I don't think it's even the same building. I think he has his own space, his own lot, and he's doing his own gym. He's gonna have a lounge area, all types of shit. I know shit y'all don't even know about yet, you know. So they're trying to, like, Al Heyman is, you know, not, I can't say everyone, I'm like, no disrespect, but like, let's say John Molina Jr. I'm not saying the same thing necessarily applies with him, because he's a guy that has losses. He's fun to watch and stuff like that, but he has losses. I'm talking about like the guys that you could really make it to a star, undefeated, and, you know, super skilled, that could be here and, you know, be at the top. You know, Errol Spence, clean cut dude, you know, well dressed, well mannered, and he has an action style that people want to watch. He represented America. You can build from that. You can create a star with that as a platform. And I think that's what they're aligning Errol Spence with. The opportunities, the tools to, like, Errol Spence, he got to be on his P's and Q's. It's not just given to you. You still got to train hard. You still got to watch what you do outside of the ring and shit like that. But they're aligning him with the proper tools to become the same thing with Wilder. Wilder's about to fight Tyson Fury and at the Staples Center. So LeBron James or Lakers players are probably going to be there. These guys are being aligned with greatness. Now, this is no disrespect to Terrence Crawford. I love Crawford. I think he's a great, terrific fighter. However, he's with Top Rank. I don't think that Bob Arum's MO is giving Crawford the game like this. Now, Terrence Crawford is a talent, so to my knowledge, he's getting $3 million at least guaranteed. But you got to look at the grand scheme of things. What I've been saying to people is, who can Terrence Crawford face over there with Top Rank? They're gonna have to co-promote, and then on top of that, Al Heyman holds the card, so he could keep the good shit for Errol Spence and manifest and make Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman or Errol Spence versus Sean Porter unification. He holds the cards where he can assign that, and then just let Terrence Crawford fight some of his other guys like Devin Alexander, or Luis Collazo is the rumor guy for Terrence Crawford. So that's big, because you get to kind of control the board. It's like Monopoly. You're controlling more. You have more pieces on the board. I don't know how else to say it. So you can create. I just feel like Al Heyman, especially in the welterweight division, like with a guy like Errol Spence, they have more of a push where they can really create something, build him into a superstar. This Mikey Garcia is a step in the right direction of that. Who can Terrence Crawford realistically? Mean Machine, Luis Collazo, some of those, there's danger in some of those fights. They're solid, but it's nowhere near the implications of what Errol Spence is being kind of given on a silver platter. All he has to do is just maintain it and keep performing. You get what I'm saying? And it's just, there's a ton of eyes, and see, this is the other thing, is like Top Rank's business model for the African American fighter. At times it's questionable. Like, Vasyl Lomachenko has never fought on ESPN Plus, yet Terrence Crawford, when he moved up to welterweight, he fought against Jeff Horn on ESPN Plus. Now, I was at the fight, so I didn't have to buy it. I covered the fight. However, everybody else was hitting me up, like fans. They were hitting me up saying, yo, how do I watch this Crawford shit? How do I get to this Crawford fight? And then I told them, and they hit me up on Instagram or whatever, or Twitter, and I would respond to a lot of the people as I could. And I said, you have to get the app. It's $4.99 a month. And they're like, man, I'll just wait for your review. People were saying stuff like that. Meanwhile, yes, the Errol Spence fight versus Mikey Garcia is going to be on pay-per-view, but, it's just a lot of spotlights, a big event, and people probably won't mind supporting a big event, especially if it's marketed right. Mikey, just look at the demographic. Texas has a lot of Hispanic, Mexican American, African American, white, so Texas is a boxing state. It's a sports state. That's why they have multiple teams. Like, how many football teams does Texas have? The Texans and the Cowboys and the Longhorns, they got a ton of teams. So, they got the Astros, like just Ranger, like look how many teams they got in Texas, and then now they're adding boxing to Fox. I just overall see this being, I know some people probably think this is a rant. This is, like I said, this is not based on anything, but I'm really happy for Errol Spence. And I just think that the team he's with are investing in his future and giving him opportunities to really be the A side and kind of like, I don't know if he'll reach what Floyd reached in his career, because that, it's too premature to say anything like that. But he has angles where you could see it. Meanwhile, Top Rank put Terrence Crawford on an app. They never put Lomachenko on the app. They put Terrence Crawford on the app. You know what I'm saying? And then Jeff Horn. So Jeff Horn fought Pacquiao. They put it on regular ESPN. Crawford fights the guy that beats Pacquiao, Jeff Horn. They put it on ESPN Plus app. You know, they put Jose Ramirez versus Amir Imam on regular ESPN. But Crawford, in his first fight after becoming undisputed champion, right, versus Julius Ndongo at 140, moves up, fought the guy who just fought on ESPN against Pacquiao and beat him, and holds the ESPN boxing record of Pacquiao Horn is the highest viewed boxing event in ESPN boxing history. And the reason is because Pacquiao fought on pay-per-view so long, so it was the opportunity to watch Pacquiao fight for free, and it was a good fight. You know, so Jeff Horn coming off of an ESPN performance where he beat Pacquiao, he was the champion. Terrence Crawford just became undisputed, moves up, and they put him on an app. I can't picture Al Heyman doing that to Errol Spence. You know, relegating him to an app that still is, you know, the discoverability is not there yet. You know, it's not, the antennas haven't been raised. Everyone's not familiar with the app and how to work it and shit like that. You know, I don't even know if they are now, but especially back then, earlier in the year, you know, because it was all something new. So, you know, bottom line, I just think that Al Heyman, he has certain fighters and he's giving them the business side. You know, Al Heyman, he's already proven that he's successful in business. And it's not even just the boxing business, the music business, he was successful. So he's giving these fighters the gift of gab. You know, he's giving them insight and intel to how to grow an empire. And people need to respect it. His business acumen is ridiculous. And he's giving some of these fighters those same opportunities to make something great. This is not the 40s and 50s and 60s where you could be a heavyweight champion of the world, got to fight every 2 fucking weeks to barely make any money. You know, you gotta, like, Ray Robinson used to do things like threaten to pull out of the fight and ruin the whole event to get more money. So basically he had to show his ass. They say Ray Robinson is the best fighter ever, you know, the greatest fighter in boxing history, and the motherfucker had to do extra shit to show his ass to get paid. He had to fight every 2-3 weeks. He had to, you know, go look at Ray Robinson's record. You'll see the motherfucker fought in January, February, and March. Like, goddamn, like, he fight multiple times each year. You know, the fighters had to do crazy stuff. So the game is different now. And I think Al Heyman is giving people the business. He's an advisor. You know, he's not a promoter, so he doesn't even have to do it the promoter angle. But he's giving these young lads the opportunity. He's giving them the game. And it's up to them to capitalize. If you fuck off your career, you know, you want to party, smoke weed, and drink and all this stuff, and then you fall off, then, hey, we try to give you, you know. But he's giving them a chance. He's giving them choices. You know, and I respect it because 30 million viewers seeing Errol Spence's face, that gets them familiar. Crawford, he's a great fighter. When has he ever had that opportunity? You know, and then this is not this. Errol Spence, the same thing happened when he fought Leonard Bundu. Al Heyman strategically put the Bundu fight immediately after the Rio 2016 Olympics. So 6 million plus people watched that. You know, so Al Heyman, he's given, especially like just the young promising fighters, but even the African-American fighters, he's giving them the game. That's the best way to put it. He's giving them like business savvy. So I think the fight with Mikey is going to do good. Same thing with Mikey. Mikey has a hell of an opportunity. If Mikey beats Errol Spence, he's the man. Like, damn, that's Sugar Shane Mosley shit. Moving up to fight Oscar De La Hoya in LA. I know Shane Mosley from Pomona, but LA was more, you know, look at how many Mexican Americans are in LA and fight fans. You know what I'm saying? So LA, East LA, that's where De La Hoya is from. You know, so it was more, and De La Hoya was the cash cow. He was the golden boy. So it was more his they fought at the Forum, I think. So it was really, you know, closer, Inglewood and all that. That's closer to where that was more De La Hoya's house than Shane Mosley, even though they're both from SoCal. You get what I'm saying? Because of popularity and proximity and stuff like that. You know, so same thing goes with Mikey Garcia, another minority. He's getting the opportunity to fight Errol Spence in Texas. If he beats him in Texas, Mikey's the fucking man. He's the fucking man. And on top of that, win, lose, or draw, both of these motherfuckers is getting buku bucks. They're getting a lot of money. So, you got to look at the business. Like Terrence Crawford, I'm not trying to stunt, or badmouth. I love Terrence Crawford. I think he's a phenomenal fighter, but him being guaranteed $3 million, you don't think Mikey and Errol Spence are going to blow that away in this particular fight, especially if it does well and if it gets promoted in the proper way? And this is a good start. It's 2018. They're putting Errol Spence on a Cowboys versus Redskin game. He's already from Texas, so it doesn't cost much to have him drive down there or fly out, put him in the little suite, and it helps promote the fight. So I just see everybody eating and everybody winning. That's the end of this video on the rant. Let me know what you guys think. I just think that certain fighters are being given the opportunity and aligned with greatness to get the maximum exposure. 30 million people just watch Errol Spence Jr. And that's the difference between DAZN at the moment and like a Fox, because DAZN doesn't have no way to get 30 million people to watch Canelo right now. What are they going to do? I have more subscribers on DAZN than DAZN's YouTube. I got more subscribers on YouTube. Look it up. So how can they get 30 million people to, unless they buy a TV ad on a network? You know what I'm saying? They could do a commercial. I think they had a DAZN commercial in front of one of the football games. But Fox, that's who's hosting the pay-per-view. You know what I'm saying? So they could just put it on their network and they could do it frequently to promote it and make sure it's successful. So I'm loving that about boxing is getting the opportunity to be viewed. See, this is the difference between like a DAZN at the moment and Fox. Is you can stumble upon this Errol Spence fight. If you're just an avid sports fan and flipping channels, you could stumble. You can't really do that. You're not just flipping through streaming apps and then you stumble on Canelo versus Rocky Fielding. You're stumbling upon Demetrius Boo Boo Andre because it's not on a linear platform. You have to deliberately know what DAZN is, go to the app store, download the app, and at the moment the app is not available on all smart TVs. That's something else people don't know with DAZN. It's not available on certain brand TV like Vizio. I don't think you can get if you have a Vizio TV, so they have to wait until it's updated. So if you have a Vizio TV, you can't download DAZN. I don't know about everyone, Hisense and some of the other brands and stuff, but you can't just stumble upon that. You have to deliberately make a deliberate attempt to download DAZN, and so therefore you have to know what it is. So in terms of Canelo's getting a bag with DAZN for sure, but how many new fans is that bringing? That's probably bringing a lot of Canelo's existing fans versus Errol Spence and Mikey Garcia have the opportunity to grow new fans. Like if you're just watching the Redskins, so you live in Washington, you're just watching the Redskin game and you might be turned on to who's this Errol Spence kid? Oh shit, okay. And then go to YouTube and see Floyd co-signing him, or go to watch, you're a Cowboys fan, you're watching it and then you see who's this Mikey Garcia fool? And then you go see ES News got 1,000 videos of Mikey Garcia and you're like, oh, I like this cat. I like his personality, and then Ellie's in the ES News is in the Robert Garcia gym. So, this is just big for boxing. That's my thoughts. I just think that being on Showtime and Fox, it's like the best of both worlds because they're linear platforms with the ability to stream out as well. Fox has an app, Showtime has an app. Showtime been streaming fights since 2015. Again, Errol Spence just got discovered by potentially 30 million people. 30 million eyes over that were recorded being on that station at that given time. That's big, And same thing, Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia got good highlights. So if you don't know much about Danny Garcia and you find out his pops is wilding and, they start showing them Amir Khan knockouts and that left hook and shit, Zab Judah fight where Judah stumbled and chicken leg, that's just good. It's just good that people will be able to, they could even be casually, not even, like I used to be in the boxing back in the 80s, but too many politics. And then you just got basic cable and you flipping the channels and they're running a segment on Danny Garcia, Errol Spence, Leo Santa Cruz, all these guys that are going to be on the network, So this is big to me. Let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I wanted to really go in this particular video and give my truest thoughts. Make sure you smash the like button as always. Hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego, signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxingego, the future of boxing.